Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Netters Network Thursday Things, where we have a very special guest waiting in the green room. But first, I'd like for our chat to give us a sound check. Do we sound okay? Troy, say something.
Well, obviously we're coming through the same mic, so
Yes.
if you're not hearing her, you're not hearing me.
But sometimes you're louder than I am.
That's because I got a big mouth.
Yeah. So, in my own ear, I sound real quiet to myself, but I may sound just fine to everybody. So if that's the case, that's cool. Speaking of Troy, my special guest, or my special co-host, which I have on every week, you know him as that guy at the end of the bar, the love of my life, Troy Pacelli. How you doing tonight, sweetie? And what are you sipping on?
I am doing amazingly well. I was up very, very, very late. Well, I guess you could say late Tuesday night, but really it was really, really early Monday morning. But despite all that, I have done a good job of getting to bed on time the rest of the week. So I'm actually feeling pretty good going into the weekend. I'm fired up. And I am sipping on a Diet Dr. Pepper, which obviously if I have one tomorrow night, it's going to be a little bit Irished up.
Oh. And I am, of course, sipping on my Meyer brand sparkling water, berry flavored, and I have to quickly look at something because I was asked a question in the chat. Now I have to very, very quickly take a look and see what is next week. What's the date next week? The date next week is the 14th.
It is the 14th, yes.
It is the 14th. Oh, okay. 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 Go back to here. Now let me scroll all the way up. So, of course, we want to say hello to our lovely chat. First in, of course, was me saying hello to the love of my life. But then right after that was JPRPH1 at 7:29 p.m. with a woohoo.
Yes.
I kind of like the woohoos. We got Connie Clary saying hello to everyone. FKHC 2005, also known as Tim. And you asked who's first for next week. Well, actually, JPRPH1, if I recall correctly, had put a comment on there like right after I put the stream up, like 3 weeks ago. So technically he's first, but what's showing right now is yours saying hail. Let's see, I said hello to Connie. Big Al Presents. Have a great show, my friends. Let's see. Deleted Scenes giving his salute. And I know I've got other people here. Curtis Selby with his tired blogger raid. Woohoo! JPRPH1. I believe I said hello to it in the beginning, but I'm calling him up again. I hate it when my screen jumps when I'm trying to scroll through to see who's saying what to whom. And there's that Troy guy saying he loves me.
I do.
He's got the biggest crush on me.
I kind of do, yeah.
And of course, we have a new face and name in the chat, Nikki's Movie House. And I was told to say, hi, Mom.
Yes, exactly. Welcome.
Yes, welcome. Let's see who. We have Geek Flag with Nate. How you doing, sweetie? Bonjour, comment ça va? Let's see, I want to make sure I don't miss anyone. Real Wade Nation Gaming Clips. How you doing, sweetie? And that brings me down to the end. Tim's like, Troy and Ed are sitting in a tree.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
For the last 32 years.
I gotta say, too, I am more and more thankful the more I'm on social media. I'm like, I'm glad I got mine and I'm locked in because there's something wrong with some of the girls out there these days. Let me tell you.
Oh,
just saying.
Yeah, a lot of them are insane.
Yeah.
But we're not going to go there.
No.
What we are going to do, though, is we're going to bring in our special guest for tonight. He goes by John Doe Juggalo, but you can call him Jeff. How you doing tonight, sweetie? And what are you sipping on?
I am just drinking on some Powerade, trying to get myself hydrated after a long day of work. But
Oh,
I'm
I know
doing
that's right.
good.
Yep,
Yeah, I
I hear you.
totally understand that. Um, I am not on screen tonight because I've had a week, as some of you have heard on our other streams.
I'm gonna
I
liquor her up tomorrow night, guys.
Yeah,
Don't you worry.
and in fact, since you have extra lemons, can you think of a lemon-based
I
drink?
can think of a number of them.
Okay,
Yes.
because I want to use up those
Started
lemons.
making the fruit cakes for this year,
Yep.
and you need zest from lemons and limes, or excuse me, lemons and oranges. I can just eat the oranges, but what else do you do with the lemons? You make drinks.
Yes, I figure we can make lemonade, but it's like, okay, that's kind of boring. So how do you liquor up the lemons?
Yes.
Um, and I just thought, oh, I was starting to say that I'm not on screen tonight because, you know, as y'all know, it's been a week for me. It's annual review time, so that means we had to do our self evaluations, and they're due tomorrow. And I just hadn't had time to do mine. In fact, I know quite a few people who hadn't had time to do theirs, and they're just like struggling to get these done because it's not like you could do this in 5 minutes. You have to look at all of your goals, and then you have to try and incorporate verbiage from your goals, or just simply the goals themselves, into your self evaluation. This thing took me almost 2.5 hours to complete. I ended up doing it after I got off work because I just didn't have time during work to try and do this because I had actual real work to do. I consider things like doing the self eval and things like that to be side quests. And I didn't have time for the side quest, so I had to wait until after I got off work. And like I said, it took me almost 2.5 hours to do it. It was like 2 hours 20 minutes, but I got it done. So I had my one-on-one today with my boss. I got to tell her I did my self eval, and she's like, "Yes, thank you for getting that done because it's due tomorrow." And it's like, yeah. So with things like that going on, and then of course today after we got off work, Troy and I had some running around. We had to do things we had to take care of. So I got home and not really thinking about anything. Changed into my jammies, washed my face, and took off all my makeup, and then like I want to say maybe 15-20 minutes later, I'm like, oh darn, I got a show tonight. So I'm not on camera because I'm in my jammies and no makeup, and I don't want to scare nobody. So you get to look at the pretty made-up picture that I have there. That was actually taken right after my daughter's wedding. So this was like 2 years ago. After I took my hair down from how the stylist had done it and all that. And I'm still wearing the makeup the stylist had put on. And that's what my hair looked like. I thought it looked really pretty, so I took a picture of myself. And it worked out really well. Tim is saying he can't hear me. I've got my sound up all the way.
Is anyone else having trouble hearing Netter? Because I've cranked up the sound on my system in StreamYard.
Yeah, maybe the mic has to be closer to me.
We could
I
try.
mean, I hear you both the exact same, and it's perfectly fine.
Okay.
Okay, now are you listening just through StreamYard or through YouTube as well?
I'm just listening through StreamYard.
If he was listening through YouTube, he'd be getting echo. So.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, that's true.
Right, there's like a 30-second delay. But
Nate
Curtis says it sounds fine to him. So
yeah, Geek Flag says he's lower than the two of you.
okay, it's got to be on your end then Nate, because everyone else is coming back. We're fine, and we can hear Jeff, and Jeff can hear us just fine.
No, that was Tim that couldn't hear me.
Tim. Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, I see what you're saying. Tim is saying it's lower than Jeff's.
Okay. Well, I'll try to be louder.
I mean, I'll put my system volume at maximum, but I'm afraid, some people are going to be getting distortion. There you go.
Okay, so, our special guest for tonight, his link for his channel is pinned to the top of the chat, so y'all know what to do. You're going to right-click on that link. You're going to go over to his channel. You're going to show him some love.
Absolutely.
Right now, he's at 522 subs. Let's see how high we can get him tonight, because I know y'all are going to show the love, right?
There you go.
And I want to make sure that I am subbed. I am. I had one guest on where I'm like, okay, everyone show the love. Let's get those subs up. And then I'm looking, going, why is it showing I'm not subbed? So then I was able to sub again, because I know I had subbed previously, but YouTube does that. If you think you are subbed, please go back and double check that you're still subbed, because YouTube.
Yeah.
It hasn't been happening to me as much as it used to, but still, you gotta double check sometimes. That reminds me, are you still subbed to Retro Blasting, honey?
Of course I am, yes.
Well, it keeps unsubbing you. It did it like 4 times.
I do double check that now. Every time I get a, what do you call it, a Patreon, announcement that something's going on the channel, I go over there and check. Because, this is before he even puts it up on YouTube for the non-members. So I go in and I watch the video and I look and I'm like, yep, still subscribed.
Awesome. And in the green room, we were talking about how I've got right here, if you stay right here after the show is over, you'll be redirected to Deleted Scenes channel for weekend updates. So you don't have to leave, just stay right here and you'll go automatically be directed to Deleted Scenes channel. And Jeff was saying how, it's great that we do this. And I didn't get a chance to answer you in the green room, so I'm going to answer you here. There is a YouTuber who is like dad to us. He's the one who has really encouraged us a lot to really grow our channels and do what we can with them, and given us tips and tricks to build our subs and be monetized and all that. That's Orville Nation.
Yep.
And PJ is always saying, together we grow. So we're always making sure that we support one another and other people support us. I mean, there were some amazing people. I know you've been in the chat when I thanked people for helping me get monetized by getting my watch hours, because they had me on 24/7.
Yeah.
You might even been one of them.
Yeah.
Just to make sure I got those watch hours so I could become monetized. We support one another. And I say at the end of every stream too, it's like, I thank everyone for supporting us, because we really couldn't do this without our audience, and we don't do this for us, we do it for them, and in order to give them the best that we can give them, we need their support. And so I'm always thanking people at the end, and I've said this a few times too, it's like, I don't just say it to say it. When I say it, I mean it. It's not just, oh, here's an outro. Everything I say at the end of each show for my outro, I mean it. So there you go. So together we grow. We are family.
I just think it's the coolest thing. I didn't see a lot of communities that were doing the I guess the raid thing on YouTube. It's very commonplace on Twitch, but you guys were one of the first communities, and then I started noticing there were other communities that started doing it as well. And I think that's very nice.
I feel like it's been catching on. I know that some of the bigger channels do it that have a solid network. So I see, WDW Pro, Valiant Renegade, Culture Casino, Midnight's Edge. They all, back and forth between each other, especially because they're usually appearing on each other's shows and so forth. Well, yeah. We're kind of doing the same thing here. Deleted kind of pulled us in a little bit and kind of showed us some of those kinds of how to do that and whatnot. And he started doing raids to our channels, and I'm like, show me how you do that so I can send people to your channel. And then I showed Netter, so like Netter could set up for tonight. Right, we haven't gotten Aged Boomer enough subscribers yet in order to get him to be able to. I guess you have to have a certain number of subscribers before you can forward to other people's channels.
Oh.
So we're going to have to get Aged Boomer back on here and do a major push for him.
Yes, we are.
Well, we'll probably start that tomorrow night on my show, but be that as
I still got to pick out gifts. It's like you gave me only a couple of days to do so.
You're the one who decided to go ahead and drop the hammer and start the monetization. So
wait. My starting my monetization has nothing to do with me doing the gifts things. I was just getting started.
It has to do with when you do the announcement. You want to do the announcement close to when you start the the monetization. I waited until the day I announced it, and then I hit the button. And I said, engage, and boom, monetization started at the beginning of my stream.
Well, no.
Yeah.
Geek Flag, what Nate says, I watched your R.I.P. Disney video earlier today.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, yeah, that was from like 2 months ago, although I went back 5 months to watch the one about from Big Lots about the movie hall that you got there.
Yeah, I watched a couple of those. Those were pretty cool.
Love your physical media content, right? That was one of when I first started the channel, I was really pushing the whole concept of owning physical media. And then I happened on Greg over at Fanzine, and I was like, wow. I said, this is the guy. And so every time I wanted to do a stream talking about physical media, I'd pull him in. And now I see your channel. I'm like, okay, well, next time I'm talking physical media, I'll hit you up.
Yeah, that's what really kind of took off and started like getting me some numbers, and that's where people started coming back and viewing my content. That's not really what I want to always do on there. It's not how it started out, but I do that just because I like to keep the people that came for that, interested in continuing to come back for the other things that I'm more passionate about, like doing videos with my kids. You can go through and you can see there's videos on there with my son, and there's videos on there with my daughter and stuff. So I actually use my Facebook page as more like home videos for my family. If something happens to me tomorrow, my kids have my YouTube channel with hours and hours of my voice and my face. True. We don't have that for our grandparents and past generations. We might be lucky to have some pictures that have survived fires. Yeah. So that's what I use my YouTube for. Everything else is just kind of like a bonus, and it's fun.
Absolutely. So I guess that actually pivots us to where I usually like to ask people, if you were to give a 500-foot, 5,000-foot, whatever, however.
30-second elevator pitch.
30-second elevator pitch, yeah, about what your channel's about, what the overarching theme is. What would you say it is? Is there one? There may not even be one.
Basically anything that you can consider physical media or anything that entertains you is what I'm about. I'm about pop culture, movies, music, video games, pretty much whatever the hottest thing is in electronics, I'm about it. So that's what we're talking about over there most of the time.
Now, with the physical media, how many movies would you say that you own?
I have somewhere around 22 or 2,300.
Wow, you've got more than we do. We have a little over 1,000.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna have to do a new inventory because I think we kind of lost count, and I haven't checked my.
It's like I know we're gonna be purging some of them that we will never ever watch.
Yeah, I don't know how we got some of these, to be honest.
Oh, we inherited them from other people, or like I bought a lot of movies because I wanted like 1 or 2 that were in there, and the rest just ended up on the shelf.
Yeah, exactly.
They were a cheap price, so I didn't mind paying and getting the extras because the price was good.
And Jeff, a bit of a gamer too, right?
Yeah, I have more games than I have movies.
Oh, there you go.
So I actually worked at GameStop for 6 years, and then after I left there, I moved to a little mom and pop store for a couple years. So I was always just working video games for the longest time anyways, and had access to all kinds of things over the years. So
Sure.
So now how many video games do you have, and is it a particular system, or
I have according to the app that I have about 75 different game consoles or handhelds, like devices. And I'm sitting somewhere around 2,600 or so games.
Wow.
Woof. Man, oh man.
It's a oversized single car garage converted into a room that holds it all.
That's almost what you kind of.
It takes up a lot of space. You have to own a home to do that.
Yes, you absolutely do. You need a home to put all your stuff, right?
Right.
Yeah, just pile myself around.
That's absolutely. So when did you start your channel?
Well, I mean, my YouTube has been around since before Google owned it. I've had this channel and this username since 2006 or 7. But I actually started really trying to push content about a year ago. Like last December, I went to Orbit DVD in Asheville, North Carolina, and I did a tour video, and it got a lot of views and everything. And I had a couple friends say, "Hey, you should do some more stuff and kind of see where it goes." And here we are.
There you go. That actually answered the next question I was going to ask. What made you decide to start? But that's quite brilliant. And there was something else I was going to ask you, and I kind of lost my train of thought. So as I'm going through your videos, and I've watched a number of them, and I'm actually still putting a bunch on watch later because I'm interested. The films that you watch, seems like you have certain genres you kind of gravitate towards. Am I right?
Well, I mean, I really like horror movies in general, but that's because they're very easily obtainable. You can find lots and lots of different ones.
That's true.
But I'm not really like per se prejudiced against any type of movie. I'll pretty much give anything a chance once. I'm not the biggest fan of, say, a musical, but I'll still watch one. So,
and are you the type that will, if you want to watch something, will you just buy it to see if you like it?
Well, not really. I don't do a whole lot of blind buying.
Okay.
As a family guy, I obviously have like streaming services because my kids, it's easier for them just to be able to stream stuff and all that. So a lot of times I'll be able to stream things and find out if I want to buy them. I used to be a lot more of a blind buyer before I was a parent, I guess, when it was just all the time I buy whatever I want. I used to go and buy 3 and 4 new releases every week at a time. And then I just got to the point where I've realized that I'd rather go thrifting and hunting for them. Like I get more of a thrill doing that. And if I'm only paying $1 or $2 a movie, then that's cheaper than renting them off of Amazon anyways. And then I still have some sort of value there to trade them up for different movies later.
Yeah, speaking of renting, going back to the days of the video stores and, later on the, the Netflix red envelopes and stuff like that, you could like with Netflix for the monthly fee or just, a few bucks, per movie, you could rent it, say, yeah, I like this, and then go and buy it for, well, ultimately it became roughly in the $20 range. Seems to be what movies go for, more or less, depending on format and
that seems to be the problem we're having a lot of days now. A lot, at least for right now, is that you have your standard studios trying to make all of their movies the price of like special editions and boutiques. Like I'm going to Walmart and I'm not seeing a new release movie under $25, and that's for like I'm paying like 22 something for a DVD in 2024, and that's a problem to me.
No,
that's starting to gatekeep people from movies because the theater's too expensive. Then you go to the store to buy the movie that, I mean, it was just in the theater 4 weeks ago, type of deal.
And what's invariably happening then is people look at that price and they go, no.
Yeah.
And then the price eventually comes down and they eventually get it. But it is kind of sending the message to the studios, people aren't interested in the physical media, I guess.
And really what it is that, like most of my friends, they're like, oh, it's really cool that you have movies. And I would have movies, except I can wait just a little bit and I can stream it on this service or this service that I pay for, and I'd rather just do that. So people have already just been kind of conditioned to just stream it and convenience. But I live in an area that we didn't even have good internet until about 16 months ago. Before that, we had really bad DSL. So you kind of had to have DVDs.
Right. And this is something I've pointed out to people. There's the element, what happens when the internet goes down? And it happens. And you're like, I'd really like to watch a movie, but I can't because there's no internet. Well,
yeah.
Pick a
Well, there'll be a
movie
lot of
for
time. There'll be a lot of
thousands
times.
movies.
Exactly.
There'll be a lot of
Physical
times people
media.
will message me and say, "Hey, is your internet out?" And say, "I don't know. I'm watching a movie."
Yep, exactly. And they're like, how do you do that? Well, because I own the movie.
Physical media. Yeah.
Then there's, of course, all the talk about, this studio or that studio has now decided that this is problematic, so they took this scene out of this movie, or they've edited or changed it or whatever.
Yeah.
And you're like, I don't care. I still have the original on DVD or
they
Blu-ray.
changed Gone with the Wind because of...
No, it wasn't Gone with the Wind. They were talking about removing it entirely. No, I was thinking of Lilo and Stitch, because they decided that there was a scene in there that where the little girl hides from her sister in a washing machine or dryer. I don't remember which one it was. And they were like, well, that's potentially dangerous, and we don't want kids doing that. So they changed it to under a table with a pizza box in front of her. And I'm like, that's the dumbest thing I ever heard. In fact, if nothing else, that implies that she's got a messy house with, garbage sitting around.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And so I said, it doesn't matter. As long as you already have the Blu-ray, they can't take it from you. They can't change it. I've talked with people about, what is it, iTunes?
Yeah.
I was talking to somebody who had a particular, very specific live concert album in their iTunes, whatever, list or whatever. And iTunes went in and took out that album and replaced all the songs with release versions of the songs. And you cannot get that album anywhere else. And I just hold up my hands and I said, well, you should have gotten it, in physical media when you had the chance.
I didn't really like the idea of digital distribution when I turned my iPhone 4 on and U2 had just put an entire album on my phone without my permission.
Wow.
I got away from iPhone, went over to Samsung, never looked back. But that was a whole fiasco. You can Google it. U2 gave everyone a free album, but you didn't get to opt out. You just woke up one morning and their album was downloaded to your phone.
I don't like that at all. Yeah, because people are like, I have a certain amount of space on my system.
Yeah.
I don't want it filled up with a bunch of junk I didn't ask for and don't want. Yeah. There's a lot of reasons to not want them to just give you something. You should opt in, not have to opt out of something like that. No, I have real problems with that.
Yeah, it's like because I have a Samsung phone, and my phone will periodically go, hey, you have unused apps. Why don't we get rid of those? And I'll look through, and there's a couple that's like, well, yeah, I only use this one like once in blue moon, like Uber and Lyft. I only use those once in blue moon if I have to like go to a corporate event or something. I'll just grab an Uber or Lyft and take that. So yeah, I'm not using them all the time, but I'm going to keep those ones. But yeah, this game I haven't played in 2 years. Yeah, we could take that one off.
Yeah, there's certain things you forget you have.
I don't remember this app. What the hell is that app for? Why is that there? Yeah, get rid of that.
Yeah, the hard part is looking through your phone at different apps and going, that looks like something important. Like what is it?
Yeah.
And it's like, I should probably keep it because it looks like it's something important. And it probably turns out to be that it's nothing at all. Like, I actually ended up taking off my phone, like, spreadsheets. It's like, I'm never going to use spreadsheets on my mobile phone. For one thing, the screen's too tiny. Things like that. And it's like, yeah, I'm also not going to do Outlook on my phone. I don't even want to access my Yahoo email on my phone. I don't want to use my phone for anything other than phone calls.
They're trying really hard to replace the personal computer and just put it in your pocket.
Yeah, but the thing is, the phone screens, even though I've got a larger phone screen, it's still too small to be a computer.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it makes me nuts. But, yeah, so... Of your physical media, do you have a specific type that you like DVD over Blu-ray, Blu-ray over DVD?
Well, for the longest time, I was kind of a big 4K nut, and I would just tell everybody if it has a 4K, that's the only way I'm getting it. And I don't know. I've been messing around on YouTube and messing around with different physical media communities for about 2 years. And after 2023, I realized that's spending way too much money.
Yeah. And sometimes not worth it, from what I understand. I understand some
like
of these AI upgrades, to 4K are not all they're cracked up to be. You're better off with just the standard Blu-ray.
Yeah, and I've been buying Blu-ray discs since like November of 2006. Yeah. So there's not a lot of 4Ks that come out that I don't already have on a really nice disc already anyways. So I just realized it wasn't really worth kind of upgrading. So really my favorite, if I have to pick, is I'd probably just say I'd stick right with like a standard Blu-ray disc, and the occasional DVD is all right, but I bought a new release DVD last year, that Mario Brothers movie come out, and my Dollar General had it stocked like 3 weeks early, and my kids just begged me to buy it. And of course, 3 weeks early, yeah, I'll buy it for you guys. And I brought it in my house, and I started watching it, and they had put a bunch of special features on the disc, and they compressed the movie so bad that it looked worse than a really bad YouTube stream. Like, it looked like I was watching a YouTube stream on a disc. And I said to my mom, I said, they're selling people brand new release movies like this for $20, and they look this bad on today's TVs.
Yeah,
because today's TVs make them look even worse. But if they would have just took all the extras off of the disc, which I hate to say that because I love extras on a disc, but if they would have took it all off and actually not compressed the movie all the way down, it would have looked decent. It looked really bad, and it looked fuzzy on my tube TV.
And going back to what you were saying about the prices of the new releases, that's where they need to start thinking through what they're offering for how much. If you're going to offer a DVD, okay, fine. If it's just the movie and DVD, and it's a brand new release, 1995, okay, right? Take and put it on a Blu-ray with all the special features and charge more for it for a new release. Okay, that makes sense. A little bit more if it's the 4K with extra features, special edition, all this kind of stuff. That makes sense. But what you're talking about,
where they're putting them in TV, well, and they want to put them in steelbooks now. They just announced some new Star Wars steelbooks, I think, and they were $72 a piece for pre-order, and that's like per one, and they've already got you roped in because one of those is a season 3. So if you've already bought the first 2 seasons, they've already got you roped. You need that 3rd season to finish it, because most collectors are completists. I'm not per se, but most are. So Disney's kind of figured out that way to get people. I mean, Disney always figures out a way, but
over the past month, because October, Halloween and stuff, Deleted Scenes was doing his The Other Side of Midnight, talking about physical media, and I was showing a bunch of my custom DVD collection. Custom DVD, how do I put it? Custom DVD box sets. I like to, when I have a whole series of movies that all go together, take them out of the individual boxes and put them into the more compact multi-disc boxes, and then make custom covers for them. They take up a lot less space on the shelf that way. I do tend to be a completist. So like I did a rewatch of Halloween and Halloween 3 one Monday night, and I'm looking through, and I'm looking at the whole twist of plot that is Halloween, right? Choose your own adventure. And I'm like, okay, I've got all but one movie for this version, this series of movies. I don't have these, but it's available on Amazon altogether for, it was actually a really, really good price. I'm like, I'm going to go ahead and get it. And then there was another one that, I needed one or two to finish that. And I'm like, I may never even watch these damn things because I've heard that they're really, really bad. But I got them for such good prices. I'm like, I need to at least have them in my collection to complete, that Halloween,
Right.
Type collection. That being said, going back to Star Wars, I do not feel that way at all about
Right.
Disney Star Wars.
Right.
I think what you were probably talking about, at least I hope it's what you were talking about, was The Mandalorian.
Yes. I was talking about. Well, I think that's the only one that they've released all 3 seasons of, because it's the only one that's worth a damn.
Well, the first 2 are, and I got the first 2 because, like I said, it was the only series that I was really enjoying. When the third, I'd already done the, what do you call it, pre-order or whatever for the first 2 seasons.
Right.
After watching the third season, I said, screw it. I'm not even getting that. As far as my headcanon goes, it ends at the end of second season. I've said to other people, and maybe it's just my justification of why I watched The Mandalorian, was it really felt like, for all of us that are old-time Star Wars fans from back in the 70s, that saw it at the drive-in with my uncle, it was like later on in the 80s when they started putting out the role-playing games and you'd create your own characters with your own adventures in the Star Wars universe. I saw The Mandalorian and I was like, damn, this is like, a Star Wars role-playing game adventure. Right? It's taking place in the same universe, just with different characters. Maybe you choose some of the same ground. Maybe you kind of cross over with some of the ancillary characters, or the main characters have a cameo or something. But by and large, and I'm like, I kind of dig that, So I had actually thought how cool it would be, especially with my gaming group, if I were to take, The Mandalorian, figure out the stats for all the characters and the ships and so forth, and kind of, because they're not watching the show, kind of run them through it as though it was, a role-playing game for them. But I figured, okay, the first 2 seasons were good. I'll run them through that in the role-playing game and let them come up with their own season 3 because this sucks.
Yeah. Well, see, that's just probably the most mainstream. The most mainstream example of the practice where they get you roped in with the first half, or the first 2 movies of a series, and then the third one comes out, and all of a sudden your gateway into that third movie or that fourth movie or whatever to complete your collection is the price of what 2 of the other 2 or 3 were. So I'm just starting to see that a lot more, and everybody says inflation, but honestly, how much more did it cost to make the movies now than it did even 2 or 3 years ago? Nothing more. It's just they're trying to milk it out of the few 10,000 people that are still buying it.
It shouldn't be more, but the way they're spending like drunken sailors, no offense to drunken sailors, they're wasting money on these movies, and therein lies the problem. They're not making their money back because they're overspending on what they're doing. And it's like, look, the original Star Wars, people, it holds up really well because it was so cutting edge with its special effects, but damn, it was done for cheap, and it was very innovative, and it was very clever, and very intelligently shot, and there was a lot of editing tricks that really punched it up, and that skill doesn't seem to be in Hollywood anymore. They're spending as much on a Marvel superhero film or a Star Wars series as doing it 3 and 4 times over.
Yeah.
You're never going to make your money back that way.
I'm actually noticing that in video games as well. and maybe it's just the entire entertainment sector. They've all decided everything has to be huge, big, and extravagant, and we've lost independent art, I think, in a way.
Yeah, no, I think you're absolutely right, and yeah,
because they're having that problem with video games. Now they're saying we're going to have another. People are saying that that's about to crash like it did in the '80s, and that Hollywood will be right behind it because Hollywood's trying to mimic the gaming entertainment sector, because that apparently makes the most amount of money in the entire world in entertainment is video games. And Hollywood has been trying to mimic it, but now they're starting to crash and burn because, well, not everybody's sitting at home spending all their money on all this expensive stuff anymore.
Absolutely. Let's do a check-in. Let's see. So we started out the night at 522 subs, and we're now at 527 subs.
Wow, awesome! Thank you guys.
Yeah, it's like my sweeties out there are showing the love. Now, of course, you know I like my round numbers. So, are there 3 more of you out there so we can get them up to 530? Is there anybody else that can show some more love here and you know, maybe if you've got an alternate channel or something, just saying.
I'm seeing 528.
Oh, now it's at 528. Okay, so we need 2 more.
There you go, guys.
We need 2 more to get them up to 530 because, you know, I like my round numbers.
Mom, are you subscribed?
Yeah.
You should be. Come on. Yeah, I know you supported them all these years.
She's subscribed on both her channels.
There you go. There you go. That's how you do it. That's exactly right.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know other people were saying earlier that they were subbed already because I think Connie Cleary said that she was subbed on with both of her channels. So it's like, awesome.
There you go, guys.
Since you guys are Osmo.
You are wonderful.
No, they're Osmo. That's
better. Yes. You're all kinds of good stuff. I also noticed that for some reason YouTube is restricting the video. I always set it for higher quality, and it keeps dropping it for some reason.
Yeah, it's like, and we both still don't sound as loud as we normally do, even with the mic like pretty close to me. And my volume is turned up all the way. I sound quiet to myself, and oh, that's weird. It's like it was showing I had 12 viewers, and now it's showing I have 4.
It's YouTube for you. It's weird.
It's like YouTube. Yeah, it needs to get its act together. Let me refresh my YouTube screen and see if that gives me a better count. Yeah, even on YouTube it says I only have 4 watching now. It's like, y'all left.
So Mom says she thinks she's subscribed on all 3 channels. So there you go.
She subbed to all 3 of you.
Oh! I'm sorry. Okay,
thanks,
well,
Mom.
Thank you so much.
Now I'm gonna actually head over to Mom's channel so that I can sub back to Mom.
I was actually surprised. I went over to her channel at the beginning of the stream and saw I was already subscribed to her.
Well, I just subbed. So, Mom, you got another sub, so now you've got, let me refresh your screen. I think Mom's got 14
You know
now.
why
Mom,
I was
now.
surprised, though? It's because, you know, I haven't gotten any notifications of videos on her channel. And you know why that is? Because there aren't any videos on your channel, Mom. So, Mom.
Do Mom stuff, like little cooking videos.
Or maybe movie review videos or something like that.
Yeah.
You know, just saying.
I think she wants to do discussions, like deep dive discussions on specific films with other people. I think that's what she's wanting to do. I could be wrong, but
Mom, if you do decide to do that and you're looking for someone to deep dive into some films, I know I'd be happy to do it. I bet we could probably convince Deleted Scenes too. Maybe. Just saying.
You know, me. I
I didn't want to speak for you, but you know. I'll speak for Deleted Scenes, but I won't speak for you.
JPRPH1 said, I'm subbed with all my accounts because you're beautiful, sweetie.
There you go.
Nikki's Movie House, I started a second channel to do lives with others. Oh,
so
okay.
There you go. So, let's see. Got the history, basic. The other thing I was going to ask, horror movies. Favorite favorite either horror film or favorite horror franchise.
Favorite horror film, Halloween, 78.
Okay.
Franchise, probably
It's kind of
Chucky.
hard to say Halloween.
Probably Chucky.
Yeah.
Because because they haven't tried to reboot it 100 times. It's the entire same consistency all the way through, which you don't get in a horror franchise.
That is
so.
True.
I respect that out of Chucky.
Did notice some videos about Hellraiser.
Yeah, I do like the Hellraisers. I hadn't seen them in a really long time until I got that box set, and I just recently rewatched them.
I'll tell you. Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
I'm not so sure I need to see anything past number 4.
You haven't seen anything past 4, or you don't want to bother watching anything past 4?
Well, I'm pretty sure I've seen Inferno, but I may not have. And then I just hear that everything just gets worse and worse afterwards. So I know I had seen the first 4 before.
I'm gonna defend the later films a little bit. I'm gonna help you out here. So why am I echoing? Is that coming through you, Netta, or is it coming through?
No, it's not me. I'm muted.
Are we on earphones, or are we over the air on your side, Jeff? Because we're getting ourselves bound. Okay, no, I think you. Oh, you just muted. So now we're definitely not hearing ourselves through yours. Yeah.
All right.
Testing 1, 2, 3. No, okay, we're good. So this is what I have told people that think they've heard that Hellraiser wasn't good. They don't want to get into it. Start with Hellraiser, Hellraiser 2, Hellraiser 3, and Hellraiser 4 Bloodlines.
Yeah, I watched all 4 of those.
4. And then if you want to skip all the rest up to Revelations isn't great, but it's okay. It was an attempt to continue the series without Doug Bradley.
Okay, yeah, that was the first one without Doug Bradley, right?
Yeah, I would actually leave that one too, but definitely see Judgment. Judgment actually was a very, very good. You can call it a reboot, but it is a sequel. It's still in the same line, but it's the second time they recast Doug Bradley. And
right.
I gotta say, it wasn't a bad recasting. It was actually really good. The biggest problem, probably, and this is probably a good problem to have, that I had with Judgment is it ends on a cliffhanger. It's totally open for a sequel that we never get resolution on. That's kind of the problem.
Oh, that's a shame.
It is. And it brings in a lot of new lore that I was kind of stoked about. So yeah, the first 4. If you want, at least try to check out Judgment. That would be worth it. The rest of the films, I have them in my collection. Again, being a completist, there are good things about each one, but by and large, they aren't really Hellraiser films. They are other horror films that they stuck Pinhead into.
Right. I've heard that a handful of times.
Yeah, to call it a Hellraiser film. It's really only to some degree Revelations, but absolutely Judgment that absolutely were intended to be Hellraiser films in and of themselves. I did see the new one, the Hellraiser. It's neither a remake nor a sequel. Some people have referred to it as a sidequel. Others just call it a reboot, whatever you want to call it. It was good.
That was the one with the female Pinhead, correct?
female-ish.
Well, yeah.
And a lot of people defend it as, well, you know, first Clive Barker was, you know, in charge of the story, so this was his vision, it's his whatever. Okay, fine, whatever. Also, the fact that the Hell Priest in The Hellbound Heart, as he originally wrote it, was described specifically as being androgynous, like you should not have been able to determine gender. So the gender bending on the character in Judgment fits and makes sense. And the lore that they go into in this film is interesting. I'm not sure if it retcons any previous lore, but this idea that the different, in quotes, configurations of the puzzle box, so to speak, have different spiritual meanings, opening different access ways and stuff like that. I found that intriguing, and it does imply some things that we're seeing in especially Hellraiser 2 and 3. And it totally fits the anthology concept of Hellraiser, where you don't have Christie and, you know, the characters from the previous movies other than the Cenobites, right? And the Cenobites you see are not, although in many ways they're analogs of the previous Cenobites we've seen, you know, Chatterer, Butterball, the female Cenobite, and so forth. Not only are they played by different people, but there are stylistic differences, implying that another Cenobite may have been created to take their place, which seems to be part of, you know, an intentional part of the lore. This is why I say it totally could be a sequel, but there are no direct crossover characters. You could just think of it as taking place in the same universe.
Yeah.
Nate says the Hulu Hellraiser had... Oh, that's right. It was on Hulu, wasn't it? It had a transgendered Pinhead and was meant to be a reboot, but it wasn't. It wasn't well received, and that's why we haven't gotten another movie. That and that's a shame, because it wasn't a bad film. I would not have had the problem with it that I do if I wasn't sitting here having watched Judgment and going, I want to know what happened after that, you know? And you so totally could have tied one story into the other. I don't want to say how, because that would kind of be, I'd have to spoil the ending for Judgment, which was good. The ending for Judgment was good. But there is a perfect way to lead directly from Judgment into that new Hulu Hellraiser. Big missed opportunities. I understand the behind the scenes why it didn't. This was Clive Barker taking back the reins. He didn't want to acknowledge, you know, the work from someone else previously, other writers and director and whatnot. Okay, fine, I get it. But that has probably become the biggest problem with a lot of these franchise films. You know, I'm looking at Friday the 13th, right? Where the rights for the first movie and the second movie and the third movie, there's all different elements of Friday the 13th in there that are owned, in quotes, by different people, right? The hockey mask versus the burlap sack versus, you know, his mother being the killer and stuff. It's all just... they keep splitting these proverbial babies, and this is what destroys a franchise, just as surely as splitting a child kills the child, right? So, take care, Curtis. Thanks so much for being here, man.
Thank you, Curtis.
Yeah, and actually, I'm sorry. I kind of ran on Netter, and
It's to be expected.
yes.
I just know that you'll get on a
Once
tangent.
I get excited, yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
it's
Sorry
like,
about that.
you know, but that's one of the reasons why I love you, sweetie, because you get
go.
excited about, well, you get excited.
Yeah. Well, there's that,
So, Jeff, do you have any questions for us?
Good question, yeah.
Well, what made you guys want to start streaming?
Yeah, we've actually talked about this a few times. Troy actually started streaming first, and you tell your little story, sweetie.
Well, you've seen Last Call. You get the shtick, right? The whole
Yeah.
idea of a bunch of friends getting together at a pub on a Friday night and having drinks and chatting about whatever, right? Well, that all kind of stemmed from the idea. Netter and I used to work together at a company near us that laid off most of the staff when COVID hit. So we said, well, that sucks. We were both out of work and needed to start doing something, right? And I said the thing that I missed the most was on Fridays, we'd get together with coworkers and go to the pub across the expressway. And we'd have a bunch of drinks and decompress and talk about clients and bosses and, whatever. And, it was a lot of fun and I missed that. So I'm like, you know what? Let's just do this online and we'll do it with, hell, the whole world, anyone that wants to come by. Because, look, when you get together with your friends at the pub, there's other people that come into the pub that could absolutely come join you if they so choose. So I said it just fits. So that was the idea behind it. It kind of took off. People seem to enjoy it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
And then for me, Troy had been doing his stream for a while. Like I said, it was during COVID. I was still unemployed, and he had already gotten a job. And I was like, I could do that. So I figured originally I wasn't even planning on doing like live streams except for like the every other Saturday with Big Al with the movie rewatches. So I figured I was just going to do like all standalone videos. And so I figured, let me start off with helpful hints. So the very first video I didn't know how to edit or anything, so I had to do it all in one take. So it took me about somewhere between 17 and 20 takes to do it without flubbing a line or dropping the box. Yeah. I did a box folding video on, you got that really great box that you want to keep. But even when you break it down, it still takes up space because the flaps are, sticking up or whatever. So if you fold the flaps in, it takes up less space. It also looks a lot neater. So, I basically did this it was probably like a minute-long video on how to fold that box that you want to keep. Because, I do eBay and stuff, so I always have boxes. But, yeah, they can be a hassle if they're, sticking up all over the place and they're just not fitting properly and all that, where you're trying to store them. So it's like, okay, I'll do a box folding vid because I had a really nice box I wanted to keep. So, And then from there I did some other vids. And then every time we ended a stream, it was like, okay, Monday we got this, Tuesday we got this. Wednesday, at this time, this was before, there was something going on Wednesday. So it was Wednesday we got this. Okay, got nothing on Thursdays. Friday we got this, Saturday we got this. But nobody was doing anything at all on Thursdays. So I'm like, I can do something on Thursdays. And that's how Thursday Things came about. And so I started doing the interviewing and all that. It's like, why don't I get other YouTubers on my channel? We could talk about them and their channel. Mm-hmm. People get to know them. I'll get to know them better if I don't know them already. And I think it would be kind of neat to, kind of have like a little interview show. And people really seem to like it. I've gotten some really great reactions from people just saying how much they enjoy the different interviews, the different guests I've had. And I've even had ones on. I forget, it wasn't Michael from Retro Blasting, but it was somebody else that has a bigger channel. And I told her, I was like, I'm going to ask so-and-so to...
Oh, was that the first time?
Tom Conkle. Not Tom Conkle. Tom
Connors, yeah.
Tom Connors from Midnight Said. I said, I'm going to ask Tom Connors to come on my channel. He goes, you're not going to get Tom Connors. He's like a big shot. And I'm like, well, it doesn't hurt to ask. The worst he could do is say no.
True.
So I went on Twitter X, and I was like, hi, I'm Netter. My show is Netter's Network. I do this thing called Thursday Things. Every Thursday it lasts for about an hour, 9 p.m. Central, 10 p.m. Eastern, where I basically talk about people and their channels and, help people to get to know them a little bit better. I know my husband, Troy Pacelli, Last Call with Troy Pacelli, is a big fan of yours. You've probably seen him in your chat. And I know I've been in your chat a few times, but you may not have noticed little me. But would you be interested in being a guest? He's like, yeah, sure, when?
I know, I was blown away.
And when I told Troy, he goes, wait, you got Tom Connors? I'm like, yeah.
Well, yeah. He's
I actually
like, well,
said
you
like
never
this.
asked.
I said, yeah, like it was hard.
Yeah.
I've actually only had one person just outright say, no, I don't want to do it. And he wasn't even a big YouTuber or anything. He was just somebody who was like, you have an interesting channel. I'd like to have you on to talk about you and your channel. And they're like, no, not interested. I'm like, okay, have a nice day.
No worries, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's something that I really enjoyed because I kind of stumbled on you guys through Deleted, and I stumbled on him by total accident. I was following Sin because I was on a panel stream with her, just through it was just through an acquaintance, and she was live with The Other Side of Midnight one Sunday, and it said that there was nobody watching. I'm like, well, I'm gonna go in here and support Sin, and I go in, and she's not even on the stream. You guys were on there with Deleted, and I believe maybe Connie was on there, and you guys were all just in there chit chatting, and I just kind of hung out for the night and decided I was gonna start following all you guys. And then when I kind of realized how much of a community you guys kind of are, and how much you guys just kind of are, back to back with everyone, and you jump into everybody's streams and all the support, I'm like, yeah, these are some people I want to hang out with and
that's awesome.
Spend my time with.
That's the exact shtick. At least, like I said for Last Call, it's like, a bunch of people you want to hang out with, chit chat with, and whatnot.
It's like walking into Cheers,
Yeah,
exactly.
Exactly.
For those of you that are old enough to know what Cheers is, because I know I got some youngins.
It's where everyone knows your name.
Yeah, even the younger people in the audience are generally picking up on these pop cultural references because we talk about
that reference.
And you can find that stuff on the internet because it's the internet. So.
Geek Flag Grenade says the video on how to fold a fitted sheet is the first video I saw of Netters. Yeah, that one was actually kind of popular because really, it's like, have you ever tried to fold a fitted sheet? It's like trying to herd cats. And I decided, you know what? Because the people figure, women should know how to do this. Women know how to fold fitted sheets. No, I didn't. I would just kind of half-ass fold them, and it's like, okay, it resembles something of a square. I'm going to put the flat sheet with it. It's done as far as I'm concerned. And I'm like, you know what? I want to actually learn how to fold a fitted sheet. So I found a video on YouTube, and I was like, okay, this is a person that's like an expert, quote unquote. So I'm going to follow their tutorial, and I'm going to show once and for all how to fold a fitted sheet as a layperson who doesn't know how to fold a fitted sheet. And so I went through, and it's like, okay, they're saying to do this. Now they're saying to do this. Okay, I have a problem with my thing. I think my sheet's bigger than theirs because I have this issue, and where this pocket should be, it's not there. Because it's like, I had a queen sheet, and I think in the video they were probably using it like a full twin or a full. So my sheet was so much bigger, but I made it work. And in the end, I had a folded fitted sheet, so I was really happy with it.
There you go.
And Geek Flag with Nate says, I actually found you guys through Sparkwood 21 and the Twin Peaks watch alone, and I've been hooked. Yeah.
There you go.
A couple of people found us that way. It's like, because we do share out the stream, so people like find us like on Twitter and go, wait, they're going to watch Twin Peaks, or they're going to do this, and then they come over to the channel and they watch the show with us. It's like, okay, I'm hooked. I'm coming back.
And I do hope, Nate, you'll stick with us. I know you kind of struggled with that season 3, but I'm going to dig into it a little bit more this week. I think there's a lot more kernels to pull apart there. And then we're going to start looking at some other things that are tangentially related to Twin Peaks, but I think help you understand Twin Peaks a lot better. It's more fuel for the fire, so to speak. More fuel for the fire to walk with us, okay? That's what I'm saying. So, anyway. But, yeah, good stuff.
Absolutely. We've actually gone past the top
Yeah, we
of the
catch
hour.
a little bit past the hour.
That's fine. So we should probably be winding down.
Yep.
So, Jeff, what do you got coming up on your channel?
Well, I did just do a reorganization of my room, so I got some of that I'm going to show off. From what I understand, people on YouTube tend to like it when you move your stuff around your room and record you doing it. So I went ahead and decided to do that. And I probably got some watch-alongs or something going on. I'm trying to figure out still how to maneuver memberships and monetization, because you guys over here in this fine community helped push me into that. Like, you guys got me right over that threshold.
He's
now I'm trying to figure out where to go.
You see how he does? It's all your fault. You guys got me.
No, I'm giving credit where credit is due. And this guy in the chat that just popped in, this is my good friend. His name is Corey. And everybody should go subscribe to him as well. He makes way better content than I do, and deserves to have way more subscriptions than he has. His name is Wilkie's Movies and Music there in the chat.
This is probably the last time I'll call you Corey, because I'll always call you Wilkie from now on.
I know I'm already subscribed.
But he
let me see if I am.
But yeah, look at there. I got a few of my friends just started popping in here. They must have got done watching another friend of ours.
There you go. Let me see.
Well, now, friends of Jeff, if you're just getting here, you might want to just make sure you're subbed to Jeff here, and if you think you're subbed, just double check that you're still subbed, because YouTube.
Oh, for frack's sake! I go over to Wilkie's Movies and Music. And he's a good-looking guy. He's better looking than I am. Damn it. No, I'm jealous.
Oh, I've been subbed to him
and he's even nicer.
Yeah, exactly. He probably is.
Tiana Loves Movies. I just subbed to you, and since you are another person who really loves movies, from what I can see here on your channel, if you'd like to be a guest on Thursday Things, I'd love to have you.
Good point. Netter's at a perfect point where she's, and this usually happens around the holidays, but she's looking for guests. So if you want to...
I am looking... Wait, let me go to
promote your channel and whatnot.
Thursday, yes. Okay. So I'm looking for someone for December 5th, December 19th, and then we're into next year.
Yeah. Yeah, so shoot her a DM or an email or whatever.
On Twitter, on Netters Network, but no space between Netters and Network, and no apostrophe in Netters. So just Netters Network, all together, one word.
Yep.
I don't have anything on that should prevent you from DMing me, but I think you have to follow me in order to DM me. But yeah, I'd love to have you on if you're interested. It usually runs about an hour, so yeah, love to have you.
There we go.
This is why I like seeing new guests in the chat, because then it's like, cool.
Yeah, new guests in the chat means potential new guests on the show if you guys are looking to promote a channel. So there you go. But that's what you were talking about, Jeff, right? The community thing. That's right.
Yeah,
we talk about. Go ahead.
That's been my favorite thing about all of this is the people and the socialization. They tried to make us stay home and not socialize with people, so we figured out a way around that.
That's absolutely right. Stay connected, practice our First Amendment rights, and for crying out loud, we put the social in social media.
Right? Let's see. So, Troy, what do we got coming up?
Yeah.
Well, right after the stream, like I said, stay right here, and you'll be redirected to deleted scenes, so you don't even have to go anywhere. Just stay put.
Absolutely.
And that'll be his weekend update, and he'll tell you all about the things that he has upcoming, which is always a lot.
And you guys know he's good people too. So.
Yeah, and it's always a fun time. It's like depending on what he's got going on, there's something for everyone.
Tomorrow night on my channel, of course, Netter will be back along with the Aged Boomer, and who knows, I may have some other guests as well, because tomorrow night Netter and I are celebrating some milestones on the channel. Netter, of course, receiving basic monetization, becoming a YouTube partner, just like Jeff just recently did. And myself getting, in theory, full AdSense monetization. We'll talk a little bit about that process. We'll talk a little bit about what it means to receive the AdSense cents. It's not dollars, it's cents.
Yeah, my issue is I have submitted my tax information like 4 times, and they keep telling me I need to give them my tax information. It's like, how many more times do I have to do this before you acknowledge it? Because like on the AdSense page, it says my tax information has been accepted. It's all good.
Mm-hmm.
I go to YouTube. I refresh my screen. It still says it wants tax information. So I've waited 2 solid days for it to catch up, because I figure maybe it just needs to catch up. Still says I need it. I've even redone the form a couple times. Just like, okay, let me redo the form. Maybe it just didn't like something. Same thing. It tells me I still need to give them my tax information. It's like, dudes, you're killing me here.
Jeff, you had a question?
Yeah, but I lost it.
I'm sorry. Well, if you think about it,
no, it's all right. It was something that was on the tip of my tongue, and I do that sometimes. I lose it.
Well, it was right when I was saying that I'm still trying to get my tax information in. So I think
it was something to do with the cents. Oh yeah. You get a full cent here. I thought it was all fractions of a cent.
Well, you don't really see what it is until you see the fractions of cents. And honestly, with all the content that I have up and all the streaming I've been doing, I have gotten some dollars. Those cents do add up to dollars. But honestly, most of the revenue comes from, at the risk of sounding like a PBS pledge drive, it comes from viewers like you. It really does. And we'll talk about all that tomorrow night. And hopefully in a way that's fun for you guys. I'll probably be doing some grousing about it, but hopefully you are entertained by it. That's the idea, at least for me. But that's tomorrow night. And then is it you or Big Al on Saturday night?
Me.
So Ella Enchanted.
Yes.
Yeah. Back when we had good, fairy tale movies. If you're gonna do a live action remake of a fairy tale, go ahead and make it a modern dress thing, and do something different with it. Because we already love the original. We don't need, and it's not even live action these days. It's like just a different kind of animation. Anyway.
Right.
I'm getting off on a tangent. Yeah, Ella Enchanted on Retro Cinema right here on Netter's Network this Saturday. And then, Deleted Scenes is going to tell you everything he's got going on Sunday, but I'll be on, of course, with Aged Boomer, 8 o'clock Central on Geeky Geezers. Where we've already got an In Remembrance or two. We'll start out the show with a positive good old days, and then we'll get into whatever pop culture news Age of Boomers put together in his notes. I haven't even had a chance to look at it yet, so we'll bring it to you, and we'll bring you our very, very unique take on it. And that is our version of the weekend update. Do you have anything coming out real soon, Jeff, that you want to tell people about?
Like I said, probably just my room video where I'm building a new shelf and doing some rearranging. That's probably it that I have for sure. I had a poll taken on my channel at some point. Hopefully, in the next week or two, I'll be starting to do a playthrough of The Last of Us. That's what my channel voted on, so that's what I'm gonna play.
Okay.
I'm looking forward to that then, because I've seen bits and pieces of people's playthroughs of it, and it looks like a really good story. So I'd like to see it beginning to end. So I'll look forward to that. You know, you mentioned. Go ahead.
Just make sure to keep tabs on the community post, because I think if I do it how I've done it off my PlayStation, I can't schedule them ahead of time. I just randomly go live. I have to figure that part out, so that way people can actually like know when I'm gonna do it.
No, that's fair.
Yeah,
that's
it's like
fair.
if you kind of like how we do these things. It's like
if you make it a regular, weekly, time slot or whatever.
Yeah, it's like for the most part, all of our shows are 9 p.m. Central, 10 p.m. Eastern.
And your subscribers should be hitting that notification bell, right, everybody? So that hopefully YouTube informs you when he goes live. No guarantees, but if he's,
I miss my favorite channels.
Well, but see, with your favorite channels, if they're doing like Netter and I do, same time every week, you should have us, you could set a little reminder on your Echo Dot or your cell phone or whatever. Hey, Troy's coming on in 15 minutes. You might want to check it out, whatever.
Exactly.
But, yeah, so that's
okay,
it.
so that's Sunday. Monday. What are we doing Monday night at the movies, dear?
I actually don't remember. I don't know if I actually scheduled what I'm going to be watching. We did Dave. Oh, yes. So next week, Monday, is Veterans Day. So what I think I might do, a movie I haven't seen in a long time. I believe that's Tom Cruise, Born on the 4th of July. I think that's a good one. I'm gonna probably do that for Monday night at the movies. That would be 8 Central, 9 Eastern.
What? No
Monday.
Patton?
I'll think about the possibility of a second film for Veterans Day. I'll come up with something.
So that's Monday. Tuesday, we are back over on Deleted Scenes channel for another exciting episode of Sparkwood in 21, where we are still talking about Twin Peaks and all that entails.
Yes.
And then right after that, we will be right back on Troy Pichelli's channel for a really exciting episode of Blake 7.
Yep. So next, Tuesday. That's usually right around 9:30, whenever the Live from Sparkwood in 21 ends. Blake 7. We're still in season 1, episode 9, Project Avalon.
Nice. Wilkie's Movies and Music said Born on the 4th of July is a rough one.
It
Good,
is.
but rough.
It is. Yeah.
Let's see, and that brings us back around to next Thursday, where my special guest will be the Tired Midnight Blogger himself, Curtis Selby.
Yep, saw him in the chat there.
Yes, he retired for the evening, if I recall.
Because he was tired.
Yes, he's a tired midnight blogger. I mean, I get that. We go past midnight, I'm tired too.
I know,
It's
right?
the bill.
What's not really fair is that I'm up first in the morning, and then I get Troy up a half hour later. So he gets an extra half hour, actually, usually about an extra 40 to 45 minutes sleep in the morning.
Yeah.
So I'm already up, getting dressed, and
Then
everything
after work, she takes a nap while I'm still getting streams ready, including her streams.
Not every night.
Not every night, but yeah, often.
That's like...
Just saying.
I haven't did it at all this week, so... So that's what's going on for the the upcoming week until next Thursday.
And so we are looking at 528 subscribers on John Doe Juggalo's channel.
Yes.
That is awesome.
I don't.
Thank you,
suppose
everybody.
we
Thank
can
you.
Make that Osmo and get 2 more.
I think we've already kind of got everybody who's here in our chat.
Yeah,
But
probably.
I super, super appreciate every
Well, just in
single
case
one
there
of
was a holdout going, I want to be that last one.
Yeah, exactly. But and let's face it, there may be someone watching this stream not live, but Memorex, and please still subscribe. If you don't, I don't know how it works. I don't know if you can still see the chat when you're watching it later, but he's also in the description below. The link is there as well. So there's no excuse. Go subscribe to Jeff at JOHNDOEJUGGALO. That's hard to say, man.
JOHNDOEJUGGALO.
Okay, let me ask, where does the name come from? I feel like it's a reference to something. Jeff?
I'm sorry?
Where does the name JOHNDOEJUGGALO come from? I feel like it's a reference to something.
So Juggalo is a fan of the music group Insane Clown Posse.
Oh, okay.
And when I very first decided to pick a username on, I think it was eBay back in like 2003, I just liked the way it rolled off the tongue. I thought it just flowed really well together.
Well,
if it's said correctly, but so many people say gigolo, and I'm just like, whatever. I don't care. As long as people aren't being rude to me, I really don't care what people are calling me. I'll pretty much answer to whatever. Just as long as you're being nice, I'm down to talk.
That is absolutely fair. I dig it. Okay. Well, I knew there was a story behind it. Now I know, and now I can sleep tonight.
And pretty much any social medias or any platforms, you can type in JOHNDOEJUGGALO, and if that name pops up, it is me. I've been using this username since like 2004 or 5.
I can't tell you. Sometimes people on YouTube, they have a different name on Instagram. They have a different name, for Twitter, Facebook, and it's like
I couldn't keep up with it.
I don't know who you are. I'm so-and-so on such and such. Oh, okay. I almost got to keep a spreadsheet to keep track of people.
That's why I've
had people...
Netter's Network everywhere.
Yes, exactly.
I've had people get offended. They're like, well, you didn't know I was so-and-so over here? Well, no, because you're so-and-so over here.
Exactly. Exactly right.
Yeah, it's like it pays to be consistent so that people can find you. So...
we should wrap it up because he's
Jeff,
going to be
any
starting
final
soon
words before we log off?
I just want to thank you guys for the invite and for the welcoming arms into the community. I like hanging out in everybody's chats and streams. I try to catch as many of them as I can.
Yeah.
Because I really like everybody. But it's really hard to. But I really enjoy it, and I appreciate how welcoming everyone has been. Because I know I just kind of popped in out of nowhere and just started chatting with everybody. But I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's part of family. Troy, last words?
No, thanks everyone. Thanks Jeff for hanging out with us tonight. Thank Aunt D for dropping in just at the end. You might want to do the rewind and hear us from the beginning. You absolutely can do that. But I do want to thank you for being here. And everybody else that's here in the chat, thanks for stopping by.
And apparently Auntie is confused because they're saying, what the F is this?
He said wrong side of YouTube. Yeah, well, I don't know if there is a wrong side of YouTube, but you never know. So, anyway, that's all I got, yeah.
Okay. Of course, I want to thank our guests for being here tonight. It was a lot of fun talking about different things with you. And I'd love to have you back on in the future. I've got all of next year open.
Yeah.
You just shoot me a message. I'd always be glad to come back.
Absolutely. And of course, y'all know what I always say. We can talk amongst ourselves, and that's all well good and fun. But it is so much more fun when you guys are joining us in the chat. And you're dropping the comments, questions, trivia, being goofy, whatever it may be. And it doesn't feel like we're separated by miles or continents in some places. Or some cases, not places. Well, there's lots of places, too. It feels like we're all hanging out in the same room. We're enjoying each other's company. We're having a great time. We're passing the popcorn. Mm-hmm. And you guys, you're not just our friends. You are our family. We love you guys, and we appreciate you so very much. you can be anywhere right now and you're here. That's just so encouraging. I love seeing each of you in our different streams. Not just encouraging us on the panel, but each other in the chat. You guys are Osmo. So thank you for being here. Thank you for the many ways that you support us. We could do this just doing it, but it's more fun with you guys. It really is. So thank you for being here and being a part of our family. We love you guys, and we will see you next time. Good night and God bless.
Take care.
Bye. Remember, stay here for deleted scenes.
Yep.